In this video, I'm going to show you how to activate a horse with minimal leg and how to stop a horse with your knees. Stick around to the end because I'm going to show you a hack about how to transfer this exercise from the ground to the saddle. Hello, rockers and fellow horse nerds. Back here with Lios, Rupert Isaacson. I've got Mr. Lios with me. I want to show you a way of stopping and slowing down a horse where you don't have to use the reins too much. And this is really useful later on when, for example, you might be in your dressage and you want to go from like a really big, powerful extended trot or a passage into a piaffe without using the reins, because that will destroy the balance. Or maybe you're jumping and your horse is just a little bit rushy going into the fence and you want to say to him, hey, could you just slow down please, without losing the rhythm? Again, without pulling on the reins, which disturbs things, destroys things, and then we meet the fence wrong. And of course, many of us have had this experience. I know I have. It's about you learning how to use the knees. And this is really cool. This was taught to me by Master Luis Valença in Portugal. And it was a hack that just really was a game changer for me. So I want to share it with you all. Okay, so the first thing we do is we train the horse to go with a very, very, very tiny little bit of a whisper from the stick, so that you never have to kick the horse. He just learns that from the leg it's just tiny bit. He just goes forward and then he stops with the whip on the shoulder. Why is this useful? Because then later there's a hack which I'm going to give you at the end for how we transfer that to the rider and how it will help you to stop and slow down in rhythm later on. But let's start first with the basic. Okay, so I've got Mr. Lios. This always works better if you do it along a fence. So that's why I'm standing here by the fence. And I'm holding very lightly. In fact, let me not hold at all so you can see I'm not pulling. Okay, so my hand is open, can't pull. And then I just want to, good, okay. And now, good. Now you can see I didn't need to pull him to stop. It was just this blocking of the shoulder thing. Some people use even a little bit thumb here if a horse has trouble understanding. If your horse does have trouble understanding, of course, use a little bit of the bridle rein or cavesson if that's what you're using. But the ideal is that we don't need to. So again, hand is open. I come forward and and if I add this or sometimes a downward whistle, this often really helps as well. Okay, so let's assume we've got the horse doing that on both sides nicely. I promised you a hack. Okay, how do you transfer this to riding in the saddle? Okay, what I would do is I would have a rider up here. I then do the same exercise, but when I do this, the rider gently closes the knees. And it's a firm close and a relax for stop. But if it's to slow down, it's a more gentle one in rhythm. After a while, you don't need the person on the ground. The horse just understands. So it starts with this. So this to activate, very, very little. This to stop. And then the rider and the person on the ground, we call it ground monkey, sky monkey, working together. The knees close and relax as this happens. And then from a full stop, we can then work on rhythmic slowdowns. This is a game changer. It means that you can basically, most of the time, leave the horse's mouth pretty much alone. And you can then not have to destroy the balance that you've got when you're in really cool movements. All right, if you want to see how that business works with doing it with the ground monkey and the sky monkey, just go along to our website, heliosharmony.com. And we have a bunch of videos on there, breaking it all down with the rider, etc. But for this, we just wanted to introduce you to the concept. There's a free intro course in the description below. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend. It's really useful if this message, this work gets out there more broadly. I had to go to Portugal to learn this stuff. You can learn it on YouTube, so tell a friend.